Rogue, or Rouge, as some people call it. Again, let me get Rouge from my document here. All right, cunning, stealth, and okay, sorry. Class group expert, as we know. Primary ability dexterity, as we know. Rogues rely on cunning, stealth, and their foes' vulnerabilities to get the upper hand in any situation. They have a knack for finding the solution to just about any problem, demonstrating a versatility that is the cornerstone of any successful adventuring party. Rogues devote as much effort to mastering the use of a variety of skills as they do to perfecting their combat abilities, giving them broad capabilities that few other characters can match. Many rogues focus on stealth and deception, while others refine skills that help them in a dungeon environment, such as climbing, finding and disarming traps, and opening locks. When it comes to combat, rogues prioritize subtle strikes over brute strength. A rogue would rather make one precise strike than wear an opponent down with a barrage of blows. Okay. Rogues have an almost supernatural knack for avoiding danger, yay, and a few learn magical tricks to supplement their other abilities. Are we saying that the subclass is Arcane Trickster? Some rogues began their careers as criminals, while others used their cunning to fight crime. Whatever a rogue's relation to the law, no common criminal or officer of the law can match the subtle brilliance of the greatest rogues. Okay, cool. Rogue, in my personal opinion, has always been slightly broken, I feel. So I'm kind of curious. Creating a rogue, yeah, so this is just the same stuff that we've seen. So let's do the same thing here. Let's look at the list. So expertise, still a thing, we knew that. And it is still at level 1. I've got to be honest, I kind of want to go back to Ranger for a second now. Because... oh no, expertise at 1 and expertise at 9. And I think Bard got it at 2 and 10, right? So Rogue gets it at 1 and 7 because... sure. Used to get it at 1 and 6. That's one thing that I will say. Okay, so... right off the bat, because I noticed that last time. So it is 3, 6, 10. Still have the additional ability score improvement here, by the way. And 14, yes. So they did specifically put the subclass levels at the same level. Okay. So I am curious if they're going to do that for all the classes, or purely they're going to use the same, like, subclass levels for every single class that's in the same group, which they might, because Warlock and Sorcerer, for example, were like level 1, but then Druid and Cleric, I think for Barbarian, Fighter, Monk, they're definitely going to do it. For the Casters and the Priests, I'm curious. Anyway. Alright, so expertise, sneak attack, thief scan, same thing. Cunning action, same thing. Subclass, feat, 5, uncanny dodge still. Subclass feature, evasion was moved to 9, expertise was moved to 7. So that's interesting. So you still have the additional feat here, which I find weird, seeing as they also get a subclass feature. Then again, rogue subclasses have always, I think, been slightly underwhelming, haven't they? I'm not sure. I know at least the original 3 were kind of like there's... what was it originally, their levels? 9 and 11, or... oh, sorry, 9 and 13. I thought it was 9 and 11. Sorry. I don't know. I think those were always slightly underwhelming. I don't remember. Anyway. Alright, let's see. So 8 feet, evasion, feet, and a subclass. Reliable talent still at 11. Which, to be fair, I like this feature, kind of. I feel like it's broken, but... eh. Feet at 12, subtle strikes at 13. That used to be a subclass feature, as we mentioned, which is now 14. And Slippery Mind at 15, which is the same thing. So they got rid of Blind Sense. Okay, sure. 16 feet, 17 elusive, which used to be the 18, and then Stroke of Luck. So they got rid of Blind Sense. Which I think, what was Blind Sense even? Is that like they get blind sense? Yeah, you're able to hear, you're aware of the location of any. If you're able to hear, you're aware of the location of any hidden or invisible creature within 10 feet of you. So you got Blind Sense pretty much. I like the fact that apparently in the original PHB, they never actually used Blind Sense as a term. It's kind of interesting. Alright. So, very little change in the rogue, I feel. Kind of curious if they changed anything in the class itself. Alright, let's see. For hit points, same thing. Proficiencies, dexterity, and intelligence, which is still the same. Skills, acrobatics, investigation, sleight of hand, or stealth, the 4 that they usually pick, or choose 4 from. And let's look at the list again. So it's still 4, which is interesting. Acrobatics, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation, perception, performance, persuasion, sleight of hand, and stealth. Exactly the same list. Okay. Weapons, simple weapons, and martial weapons that have the finesse property. Okay. That's very specific. Used to be simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, short swords. Which apart from hand crossbows, so hand crossbows pretty much probably got removed unless those were put in simple. And I still don't know if short sword is now like a simple weapon or not. Kind of curious. Still only light armor, which used to be a thing anyway, so that's fine. Oh, and thieves' tools are here. Okay, cool. Yeah. So that's still exactly the same. They didn't change that. Starting equipment, you get 110 golds. Yeah, they clearly changed this anyway. Wanted to make it more free, but they gave you suggestions, which, I mean, that's fine. I'm honestly not against this. I feel like having, like, I never wanted to roll for my starting golds, because, like, I felt like if I roll really shitty and I literally can't afford diddly fucking squat, like, that's a problem. Whereas here, I'm fine with, like, just spend 110 gold pieces on whatever you want. It's like, okay, cool. I don't have to look through this burglar's pack. Which is like the biggest reason that I would do this. Because fuck that. Plus it allows you to like try out new builds, right? Like if you want to play like a strength rogue for whatever reason, you know. Nobody would, but hey. At least now you don't have to like spend money on like you can buy I don't know, a quarterstaff and start punching people. I don't know why you would do that on rogue, to be fair. You can do it on board. Multiclassing in the rogue. So you have to have a 13 in dexterity, which I'm pretty sure is the same. If rogue isn't your initial, you get thieves' tools and 1 skill from the rogue skill list. I'm pretty sure that's the same, and you get light armor training. Cool, perfect. I'm curious because I know Paladin gets all 3 armor trainings if that's their level 1. I'm curious if they're going to change this for Paladin, where if you multi-class into a Paladin, you get heavy armor. I'm actually kind of curious. Alright, Rogue class features. Expertise in 2, so that's still the same. Sneak attack, you know how to turn a subtle attack into a deadly one once on each of your turns when you take the attack action. This is really important. That is actually a nerf, by the way. Because that did not used to be specified. And the reason that that's very important is because that means that you cannot... Wait, does that mean that you can't do it on a bonus action? I'm curious on how this rules with bonus action. The biggest thing that I was thinking about is you used to be able to sneak attack on a reaction. You can't sneak attack on a reaction anymore because I'm pretty sure you're not taking the attack action at that point. Anyway, you can deal extra damage to one creature you hit with an attack if you're attacking with a finesse or a ranged weapon, so that's still the same. Either you need to have advantage on the attack roll, or at least one of your allies is within 5 feet of the target. The ally isn't incapacitated, and you do not have disadvantage on the attack roll. All right, and then roll a number of d6s. So the sneak attack bonus is still the same, so nothing changed there. So that's fine. Thieves' Cant is still a thing, so that's still the same. Okay, here. You can take one of the following actions as a bonus action: dash, disengage, or hide. So they didn't put aim in there to start with, so they didn't put the Tasha's thing there, which is interesting. They put thief as a subclass, which again I expected, but I was expecting not to expect something, so it doesn't count. Wait. Oops. Anyway, subclass thing's the same as always. Feat, same thing. Uncanny dodge, when an attacker that you can see hits you with an attack roll, you can use your reaction. This always was an attack roll, right? Hits you with an attack, it says, but I think that's the same thing, to be fair. Subclass at 6, expertise at 7. I mean, so no, wait, it used to be, yeah, no, so they kind of flipped around 6, 7, and 9, right? Because evasion used to be at 7, 7 used to be at 6, and 6 used to be at 9. So they flipped those around, which I'm kind of fine with. Evasion feels like a very powerful ability sometimes, because I feel like dex saves is like the most made save in the game. I don't know. So yeah. So is this still the same? When you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you take none if you succeed and only half if you fail. Can't use if you're incapacitated. Sure. Which I think is exactly the same. Oh wait, hold up. Hold up. In the original text that I have here, it doesn't actually specify that you can't do that if you're incapacitated, which is hilarious. You can evade if you're incapacitated. That's just stupid. Yeah, no, that's okay. So the feat, subclass, you have refined your talents until you approach perfection. Whenever you make an ability check with one of your skill or tools proficiencies, you can treat a d20 roll of a 9 or lower as a 10. Okay. I'm curious how this is going to work with like critical fumbles. I would assume it would still work. It did in the original game at least. Gain the ability score, so that's feat. Subtle strikes. This was a change, right? Yeah. When you attack, you know how to exploit a target's distraction. You have advantage on any attack roll that targets a creature that is within 5 feet of at least one of your allies who isn't incapacitated. So you're guaranteed to get sneak attack, is what you're saying. If advantage, disadvantage still works the same way that it did originally, then as long as you have advantage, you can't end up with disadvantage. Because in the... I don't use those rules, right? I have a slight homebrew to that, but if you have any number of if you have advantage any number of times and disadvantage any number of times, the amount of times doesn't matter in the basic rules. You always do a straight roll. So technically, this means that if there is a target next to your target, you are guaranteed to have sneak attack. Which, I mean, meh. Oh, God, what the hell am I doing? Jesus. Apparently I'm least. Okay. I mean, I'm fine with this, to be perfectly honest. I don't have a problem with it. It's kind of weird that you have to give a blind sense for it, but hey. Subclass. Yeah, proficiency in wisdom and charisma saving throws. This used to be only wisdom saving throws, so that's interesting. They added charisma saving throws to this, which... Oh, because you already haven't... Oh, yeah, okay, no. It makes sense, because you already have intelligence from Rogue. And you're just adding all of the mental saves. So you're just good in mental saves right now. Okay, sure. Yeah, I can live with that. Sure. That's a cool little thing. 16 feet, 17 elusive. You are so evasive that attackers rarely gain the upper hand against you. No attack roll has advantage against you while you aren't incapacitated. Yep, same thing, just used to be at 18. And then stroke of luck. Yep, I figured. So you have an uncanny knack for succeeding when you need to. If you fail a d20 test, you can turn the roll into a 20. You can't use it until a short or long rest. So that's the capstone ability that went to level 18. And then epic boon. Okay. Cool. And then the subclasses. So, we're getting the Thief subclass. You have honed your larcenous arts. Burglars, bandits, cut purses, and other criminals typically adopt this subclass, but so do rogues who prefer to think of themselves as treasure seekers, explorers, delvers, and investigators. In addition to improving your agility and stealthiness, you gain abilities useful for delving into ruins and getting maximum benefit from the magic items you find there. Okay. You have additional options for the bonus action of your cunning actions, with which you can do the following. Take the search action, or make a dexterity check, sleight of hand, to pick a lock or disarm a trap with thief's tools, or to pick a pocket. So use an object got removed here, which is interesting. Because that's interesting. This used to also give you bonus action, use an object, which I remember because one of my players has used that feature to very good effect, honestly. I was impressed because technically, like, he was able to, like, use a matchstick and at the same time, like, you know, do something else and, like, put something on fire with, like, 2 actions. So that was kind of cool. So I'm kind of sad to see that go, honestly. But I think that's because, honestly, I will say the reason I think that that's a thing is because using objects is so weird, because why would every single object use an action, right? Not every single object requires an action to use. So I think that's the reason that they removed it, because honestly, it was probably just weird to have it. Second story work. Okay, so you get a climb speed equal to your speed. So yeah, which in the original was pretty much climbing no longer costs you extra movement, so that's the same thing. And jump distance, when you take the jump action, you can make a dexterity check instead of a strength check. Okay, that's... So originally it used to be that your distance that you cover when you jump would be increased equal to your dex modifier. Here it's just like... Because apparently the jump is now an action, which is kind of cool. But yeah. Okay, cool. You have advantage on every dexterity check stealth you make, provided you aren't wearing medium or heavy armor. This used to only be if you did not move half your speed. So that's interesting. You just get advantage on dex checks. That makes this pretty good, especially since it used to be at 9 and now it's at 6. Use magic device. In your treasure hunting, you have learned how to maximize use of magic items, granting you the following benefits. Okay. Oh, this is fun. So you can attune to up to 4 magic items at once, which I like. Whenever you use a magic item property that expends charges, roll a d6. You have a 1 in 6 chance to use the property without expending the charges. Okay, that is a cool change. And apparently, scrolls. You can use any spell scroll that bears a cantrip or first level spells. You can also try to use any spell scroll that contains a higher level spell, but must first succeed on an intelligence check with a DC equal to 10 plus the spell's level. On a successful check, you cast the spell from the scroll and use your intelligence. On a failed check, the scroll disintegrates. So pretty much if you do this, you still want to have some proficiency in Arcana, because you're going to be able to use scrolls. Okay, I like this. They pretty much just made you like a magic user. Because originally it was just like, yeah, you can attune to everything. Which is cool, to be fair. Kind of boring, but cool. But yeah, that's... Okay, cool. Oh, dear mother of God, the 14. I already saw the 14 and I don't know if I'm a fan of it. You can now take a second bonus action on your turn, provided it is the bonus action from cunning action. You can use this feature on a number of turns equal to your proficiency bonus, and you get them back on a long rest. 14th level you're at, plus 5 already, right? Yeah, sure. What did this used to be? Oh, right. When you reach 17th level, you've become adept. Yeah, you can take 2 turns in your first round of combat. You take your first turn at normal and then one at -10. Right. Yeah. That was actually, yeah. The 17 was better than the 14. Gotta be honest. Then again, this is just a cool feature, right? Like with 5 uses, that's 5 times you can like bonus action hide, attack, bonus action hide, or you can like bonus action dash, action dash movement. So that's like 120 feet if you're looking at like the standard 30, 140 if you're looking at Wood Elf. Sure, I like it. I think that's it for Rogue, right? We're done with Rogue. Rogue didn't change much, but I've got to be honest, I'm not against the changes. I like the changes. I'm a fan. I don't think they really solved the problem that I've always had with Rogue, which is the fact that I think Rogue is kind of an insane class. But that might just be because I give too much power to hiding. Yeah, no, I'm a fan. I like what they did to it. There's a couple of things that they changed, which I'm a fan of. Yeah, more of a fan than Ranger, gotta be honest. Anyway. Alright. We're only at page 14, God. Oh. Alright. Feet.